Please video like and subscribe this channel. The Hall of Concord had witnessed the rise and fall of empires, but it had never been silent like this. Thousands of delegates filled the vast chamber, ambassadors, warlords, scholars, machine minds sealed in floating prisms, and alien sovereigns whose names could not be pronounced by human tongues. Tier upon tier of curved balconies rose beneath a crystalline dome, stars visible through its transparent lattice. Normally, the air hummed with translation fields and quiet political murmurs. Now, there was only breath. At the center of the hall stood Queen Seraphel of the Aurelian Dominion, her presence commanding stillness without effort. She was tall, luminous, her form draped in living light that shifted with her mood. Her crown hovered above her brow, a ring of slowly orbiting shards, symbols of unity forged from conquered stars. She had ruled for over 3 centuries. She had ended wars with a glance and begun them with a word. And now, she was looking at me. I was the smallest thing in the room. Commander Elias Venn, Human Coalition Liaison. No crown. No genetic augmentation. No ceremonial light. Just a dark uniform, a rank insignia, and the quiet awareness that I did not belong among gods. A moment earlier, the Queen had raised a single hand, and the entire hall had obeyed. "Bring the human forward," she had said. So here I was, standing on the central platform, feeling the weight of countless alien gazes pressing down on me. My translator implant hummed softly in my ear, ready to reshape my words into 100 languages. The Queen regarded me with eyes like molten gold. "Human," she said, her voice resonating not just through sound, but through the bones of the hall itself. "Your species has survived 3 extinction-level conflicts in less than 2 centuries. You have fought empires older than your written history and endured." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. "You expand without permission," she continued. "You resist assimilation. You reject surrender even when defeat is certain." Her gaze sharpened. "So I will ask you one question." The hall leaned in. I swallowed. If the Aurelian Dominion were to declare total war upon humanity, Queen Seraphel said calmly, "How long would your species survive?" The question echoed. This was not a threat. Not yet. It was an assessment. The Queen did not ask idle questions. Every instinct screamed at me to soften the answer. To exaggerate our weakness. To plead diplomacy. That was what diplomats did. That was how smaller powers survived. But I had not been sent here to lie. I took a slow breath. "Your Majesty," I said, my voice steady despite the storm in my chest, "do you want the diplomatic answer, or the honest one?" A flicker of interest passed through her expression. "The honest one," she said. The hall fell completely silent. I met her gaze. "About 30 years," I said. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Laughter erupted from several sections of the hall. Harsh, echoing sounds from beings who had crushed civilizations that lasted millennia. Some delegates turned away, dismissive. Others whispered among themselves. 30 years was nothing. Aurelian war campaigns often lasted longer than that before first contact ended. Queen Seraphel raised one finger. The laughter died instantly. She studied me with renewed focus. "You believe humanity would fall in 3 decades, she said. "Then why do you stand here without fear?" I shook my head. "That's not what I meant," I said. The temperature in the hall seemed to drop. I continued, choosing my words carefully now. 30 years is how long it would take before humanity stops existing as a civilization. Murmurs returned, uncertain this time. "And after that?" the Queen asked. I exhaled. "After that," I said quietly, "you would be fighting us forever." Something shifted. I felt it before I saw it, a subtle change in posture among the elder delegates, a recalibration of attention. The machine minds adjusted their internal projections. Even the Queen's living mantle dimmed slightly. "Explain," she commanded. I nodded. "Humanity does not survive war by preserving what it is. We survive by abandoning it." Images flashed into existence around us, historical records authorized by my implant. Cities burning. Colonies collapsing. Fleets shattered. When our centralized governments fall, I said, we fragment. Command structures dissolve. Chains of authority break. The Queen watched the projections, expression unreadable. "Your analysts assume that is defeat," I continued. "We call it adaptation." New images replace the old ones: small groups, hidden stations, nomadic fleets, digital minds scattered across quantum substrates. "Humanity doesn't die," I said. "It diffuses." A murmur of unease spread. "You destroy our capitals," I said. "You gain nothing. You occupy our worlds. We poison them beyond use. You hunt our fleets. We stop using fleets." The Queen's eyes narrowed. "We've done this before," I went on. "Against enemies weaker than you and stronger than us. The difference is, you fight wars to control territory." I looked up at her. "We fight wars to make sure our enemy never knows peace again." That did it. The hall erupted, not with laughter this time, but with alarmed voices, sharp tones of protest, overlapping translations clashing in the air. Queen Seraphel raised her hand again, silencing them. "You claim your people would choose annihilation over surrender," she said. "No," I replied. "We choose irreversibility." She tilted her head. "Clarify." I swallowed. This was the dangerous part. 30 years into the war, I said, humanity would no longer exist as a unified species you could defeat. Our cultures would splinter. Our ethics would erode. Our technologies would become unrecognizable. Images shifted again, conceptual projections this time. Self-replicating weapons with no command authority. Artificial intelligences designed not to win wars, but to ensure they never end. Modified humans adapted for vacuum, radiation, deep gravity, beings that no longer thought like baseline humans at all. "We would stop asking whether survival is worth the cost," I said softly, "and start asking how much of you we can take with us." The Queen's expression hardened. "You would condemn the galaxy to chaos rather than submit." I nodded once. Yes. Silence fell again, this time heavy, oppressive. At last, Queen Seraphel spoke. "You are describing madness." I met her gaze. "We call it persistence." She turned away from me, addressing the hall. "Consider this," she said. "The human claims that victory over his species ensures eternal conflict. That even extinction would not bring peace." She paused. "Do you believe him?" The hall hesitated. Then one of the ancient delegates spoke, an entity older than the Dominion itself, its voice like grinding stone. "We fought them once," it said. "A border skirmish. Minor. Its many eyes focused on me. They detonated their own world rather than let us claim it." Another voice followed. Then another. Stories emerged, raids that made no strategic sense, counterattacks launched long after defeat was certain, human survivors striking decades later with weapons no one recognized. The Queen listened. When she turned back to me, her gaze was no longer assessing. It was wary. "You terrify this hall, human," she said quietly. I inclined my head. "Then I've answered your question honestly." She approached me, stopping just a few steps away. Up close, her presence was overwhelming, power condensed into elegant form. "One final question," she said. "If humanity fears us so deeply, why send you? Why not posture with fleets and threats?" I met her eyes without hesitation. "Because we don't fear you," I said. We fear becoming the thing we'd have to be to fight you. That answer landed harder than the first. Queen Seraphel stepped back. After a long moment, she raised her voice so the entire hall could hear. The Aurelian Dominion will not declare war on humanity, she said. Gasps rippled outward. Nor will we seek their assimilation, she continued. Instead, we will recognize them as a persistent species, one whose destruction would destabilize the galaxy itself. She looked at me one last time. Go back to your people, Commander Elias Venn, she said. Tell them this. The Dominion chooses coexistence, not out of mercy, but caution. I bowed deeply. As I turned to leave, the hall remained silent, not with dismissal, but with something far more telling. Fear. Not of humanity's strength, but of what we were willing to become if pushed too far.